We'd like to next introduce Dean Carla Hesse. Professor Hesse is a leading scholar of modern European history, including its social and cultural aspects, with a specialty in modern European women's history. She holds the Peter Sather Chair in the Department of History, and in 2007 won the prestigious Amy Warburg Prize. She's currently the Dean of Social Sciences here at Berkeley. She's my dean, and we at SIGA are very grateful for her continued support.
It's really a great pleasure to be here to welcome you on behalf of the University of California today. It's not just because SIGA is one of, I think, the most exciting centers for research on the Berkeley campus, and in my division, I consider it a jewel of the social sciences division because it embodies the kinds of strategic partnerships and strategic collaboration across disciplines within academia and between academia and governmental and non-governmental actors that I think exemplifies the best of a public university and the best of Berkeley. And this theme today is of special personal interest to me because I consider my presence here with you today as something of a miracle. My grandmother grew up in a very small Greek hill village. She was sent to kindergarten for 1 year in order to get food for breakfast, and that was about all her parents permitted of her. My grandmother was illiterate her whole life, and it was only by the fact of the world's problems that she ended up in the United States, the Balkan Wars that led to the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, and she ended up in Los Angeles, California, where my mother was permitted to go to school until she was 12 and sent out to work in a factory because girls didn't really need to learn to read or write. My mother ran away from home and ended up at UCLA and by a circuitous route, UC Berkeley. And I grew up here, and now I am the dean here. I am really intrigued to understand all of the variables that made that happen. I have a clue that mobility was one of them, in this case forced mobility, but many, many other themes and topics that are going to be taken up in the papers here today I think will allow me to understand better how it is that I came to be Ted Miguel's dean. And I'm sure we'll be hearing hundreds of stories like my own today. I would especially like to welcome those guests who've come here to the university from very far away, from as far away as Nairobi, Kenya. Margaret Korma, welcome, and thank you for making this long trip here. And Santosh Ramdas, who has come here, I think, from New York in the most proximately, but from Uganda originally, as well as to thank those members of the United States government who have come to participate in this conference today, and in particular Nicole Golden from the U.S. Agency for International Development. It is important for academia, and especially in these times, to recommit to public life and to our communities. The publicness of public universities needs to be celebrated, and not just celebrated, but demonstrated in all of its impact. We take for granted that we receive these immense gifts from the citizens of our state, and it is up to us to show them what we can do with that. Now, it's not just our state, of course, because we no longer live in states and we no longer live in countries. And I think this center is just an expression. It's a canary in the mine of telling us that we live in the world, not just in the United States of America or in California. And of course, we at Berkeley like to think of ourselves as one of the first global universities, the first university to really draw upon in the post-war period, and to recognize and take advantage of the turbulence and troubles of other parts of the world. And I just thank Ted and everybody who works with Ted for making this possible and for doing all of the hard work to put this together. And I'm really looking forward to hearing this program and understanding my grandmother's life. Thank you.